This is Sylvia. How are you?
Hello, Sylvia. Doing well. How are you?
Good. It's the witching hour, so I thought maybe we can start. Hard to go around the room since we don't know what everybody's saying, but if we could at least say who's here. I'll start. Jamie and I are here from CMU.
This is Mary from Adams State.
Hi, Mary.
We have Renee from Western down in the chat.
Hi, this is Ginger.
Oh, yes. Hi, Ginger. Thank you.
Shane Ratzel from Colorado Christian.
Hi, Shane.
This is Lloyd at Marmot.
Hi, Lloyd. Thank you.
Hello, Lloyd.
Hello. And I'm Brandon, hosting the meeting from Marmot. I'm just listening in, but if you guys need anything from me for the meeting, just let me know.
Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate you setting it up for us.
Hey, Brandon, is this being recorded?
Yeah, it's being recorded now. When Tammy gets back in the office next week, she'll post it to our YouTube page and then post it to the committee page.
Great. I think there's going to be some people interested in the bento box discussion.
I think that's everybody. I don't see Kevin on there, but I think he was planning, so people might come on a little late. But let's get right to that interest item of the bento. Is Martha or Ginger, can you take it from here?
All right, so bento box. Have all of you seen the bento box demonstration?
No.
Demonstrated by who?
By Marmot. All right, I'll give you some background, and then maybe you can let me share my screen, and I'll bring it up and show you what we've been working on. Some time ago, I contracted with Marmot to create a bento box application for EDS and PICA and some other things. I paid them an exorbitant amount of money to do it, and it's now done. We have the basics of bento box. It doesn't have the interoperability that we wanted, but it does have the basics. So if you'll let me share my screen here, well, let me bring it up first.
And Martha, you should have access to share your screen
okay.
from the Zoom meeting.
Great. I just have to find what screen it is because I have 70 windows open. Okay. Do you see it now?
Yes.
So anyway, I did a search in PICA. You'll notice it's in the library engine, which is our phrase for our EDS iteration. And what it's doing is it's actually searching EDS and it's searching the catalog. Now, I need to tell you, I haven't gone in and configured the EDS correctly yet because we're not going to do this. We're not going to implement this until fall. So it's doing ebooks and things besides journals. And it's not searching all of our databases at all. We have Search of Smith brings up like 3 million items in EDS. So don't pay attention to the content of the results, just the fact that they're divided into journals and magazines. This phrase and this phrase are totally customizable, as it is down here at the bottom as well. I've taken out the digital archive several times, and it keeps and DPLA, and it keeps popping back up. But it's totally customizable what you put in here, as long as Marmot has built the API for it to work. Okay. Now, I had hoped, and when I did this originally, we did rather a basic contract because I had hoped we'd be collaborating on what would be done, but that turned out not to be the case, and this is what they've given us. I'm willing to live with that, except I really, really want to have Google Scholar at least. I'd really like to have my ProQuest databases, but that doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime in the future. But if I can't have my ProQuest databases, dissertations and Wall Street Journal and things like that, then I really would like Google Scholar, and Google Scholar is not that hard for them to do. What development requested was that I come to this committee and see if others were interested in having Google Scholar added to bento box so that there was a consensus. Right now, it's bento box, and they're not talking about adding anything else at all. Does that make sense? So it's not like it's bento box or something else. It's bento box or nothing else.
So Martha,
yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
The modules, like the articles, books, video,
yeah.
Are those, like with the archive, you said you have taken it out, but it keeps coming back?
Well, they're still working on it. But this is not production.
So the modules could be customized. You could put in A, B, and C, but not F,
Yes,
that
you
sort
can
of thing.
choose from what's there. These 4 are here and they work. These 5, excuse me, there are 5. EDS is one. That's articles from journals and magazines. The catalog, specifically PICA, is another one. Prospector is one. The digital archive is one. That's the Marmot Digital Archive, and DPLA. What I'm requesting of this group is support for adding Google Scholar. Like I said, I'd love to have the ProQuest databases. It's not going to happen. I've just been told no. So I'm a little disappointed since I paid $25,000, but like I said, I'm not willing to fight about it. So anyway, that's what I'm here to talk about. Yes, these are, you can choose them or not choose them. And this isn't production, so they've been doing stuff, and I think that's why the archive keeps popping back up. It's all customizable through the PICA screen, just like it's always been, right? Like we customize PICA now. You can do all that kind of stuff now. You can move these, what order they're in. So I don't know if you've ever seen Bento Box before.
I've seen iterations of it on different websites.
Yeah, we really want to give it a try. We're doing some interesting things behind the scenes. We haven't put them into production yet, making different iterations of EDS. If you have EDS, you can make as many EDSs as you want. So I'm going through and I'm making a psychology EDS. And the reason to do that, as opposed to just building a profile, is I can bring in more information, more sources than I can with just with a EBSCO profile. So if some of you may not know what I'm talking about with that, don't worry about it. Your electronic resources librarian will know, and I'm happy to talk to them about that. Anyway, so we found that EDS is just this cesspool of information, right? First of all, it's only about 60% of our information. And we have 40% of our databases don't work in EDS. But what's there, that 60%, is just a mishmash. And we found that students were really looking for either journals or books. They really wanted to separate the journals. One of the things that I've been talking to Marmot about, and I may be able to do this with an EDS, a new EDS iteration, is having it be another category here that is just full text online information. So it would bring in ebooks, it would bring in all of our articles that are full text, so that those students at 2 a.m. the night before the paper is due could go right there, and they'll only be accessing things they can get right then. So yeah, there are a number of schools. There are no schools our size that have EDS. There are some bigger, well, not size, reputation, whatever you want to say. There are some big schools back east that are using Bento Box with their EDS, and I really liked what I saw a year and a half ago at almost 2 years ago now, at the first EDS conference. And so we've been working on it since then. So whether or not you use this, it's there for you. You can use it. All you need is an EDS API. I'm happy to talk to you about what you need to do. Mark and Jordan can talk to you about what you need to do. You have to have EDS, obviously, which I think everybody does now. Does CCU have EDS now? Yes. Yeah, so everybody has EDS now. So this is available to you. We bought it. We're sharing it like we always do for what it is. But I really would like a vote on whether or not the group wants Google Scholar added.
Sure, Google Scholar works for me.
As opposed to not having a choice of having it, right? Like I said, it's not Google Scholar or ProQuest. It's Google Scholar or nothing.
Yes, I would say Google Scholar makes a lot of sense
Okay.
to add.
Anybody else want to weigh in?
I would support that too.
Yay. Yay. So is this interesting to anybody? Do we want to have a separate little group meeting to talk about this, to go through the configuration? Do you want to work directly with Mark and Jordan? Whatever you want to do, I'm happy to help people do it if that's helpful to you. Sometimes it's easier for me to explain what to do in a PICA admin than for them to explain it, because they know too much. And I know just enough. But anyway, so, and there are several steps behind the scenes that have nothing to do with Marmot that you have to do in EDS. But the first step is to ask your EDS rep, ask Ashton to get you an API if you don't already have one. And like I said, I'm going to be asking for a second one because I want to try this idea of just full text resources, a box here for just full text resources.
And in that box, Martha, would that include your ebooks and
Yes.
journals? Okay.
Yes. I would put both in there. So it would, we'd have articles and then we'd have books and then we'd have, here's your stuff right now because it's 2 a.m.,
Martha, would you be able to limit it just to full text results from
Yes.
Google Scholar? How
No,
does that?
no, not Google Scholar. Google Scholar will just be a search of Google Scholar.
I see.
This would be an EDS iteration. Does that make sense?
Yes.
There's no way in Google to limit, in any iteration of Google, to limit to just full text.
Right.
We have to do the work on that. The user has to do the work. But there is a way for me to take just ebooks and just full text journals and create a separate instance. They don't call it iteration. They call it instance of EDS. And like I said, I'm working on one for psychology now. I think history would be an interesting one. That kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like specialized search engines, right?
Martha, I've got a question in chat. You may not have.
I didn't see it. Let's see if I can find that box to find chat.
Oh, Renee says she thinks it's been answered, but she's also voting in favor of
Oh,
Scholar.
yay, Renee. Thank you. Thank you. So I can go and tell development that it's unanimous. Is that okay? That we would all, if we're implementing Bento Box, we would all like Google Scholar. Doesn't mean you have to implement Bento Box.
Right. I was just going to clarify that because we actually split journals and books.
Yeah, you
like-
do already. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think we're at where you're at, but if we were, I would say Google Scholar.
Yeah, and what we had hoped for at the beginning was that you would be in this results page, and over here on the left you would have the EDS limiters, the facets.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's still Mark's dream to do that. But the reality is that right now when you click on this, it's going to open EDS and work with you from there. If you do the see all results, which like I said, this is really just academic search. It's not all results. I just haven't bothered with it. It does carry the search over, which is nice if you have a complicated search string. I hate when you have to go develop that again, right? And so then you can do your search and you'll see that when I'm in EDS, it brings up 6 million items. It will show all of those eventually when I configure behind the scenes the EDS API correctly. It's just it's not important because we're not in production yet. So, and the same thing with this takes you to PICA, and those results are up to date. And these are PICA results, not Sierra results. That's important sometimes, right? So the only thing I'm worried about losing, I'm just going to be honest, I'm worried about losing ebooks because it takes us, we buy almost exclusively ebooks now, and it takes us at least 30 days to get the records from OCLC. And so they're not in PICA, and if I'm limiting this to the formats of journals, magazines, and newspapers, then they're not going to be here either. But they would be if I did this, online now category. They would be in there, but I'm a little worried about that. But most of the time, students aren't banging down the door to get that ebook, And if they are, we've given them the link anyway. So,
Do you have other non-EBSCO ebooks that would show up in the online now thing?
no, we don't have we don't have any non-EBSCO ebooks.
Okay.
We treat those like databases if we do. So
okay.
so like we have like Salem Press, we have some stuff that are ebooks legally, but we treat it like a database. Annual reviews, we treat it like a database.
So if somebody was interested in implementing that but had different ebooks, OverDrive or something, would they be able to fit that into the online now thing?
Do they load their ebooks into the catalog now?
No, they're mostly sideloaded in PICA.
Right, then they would show up here in books,
Okay.
videos, and more. It's the only thing that doesn't show up, Lloyd, is the delay in getting the EBSCO ebook records.
Okay.
Because OCLC is slower than ever about that. And we get ours from OCLC. We're not using anybody else now. And so it's just that 30-day window when we bought something, it won't appear in this until the record is in Sierra. Oh, no, Pica, sorry. We sideloaded those into Pica.
Okay.
So does that, that's not true. We load those into Sierra. We only sideload the subscription package. The others we load into Sierra.
Mm-hmm.
So, because we want them, because we own them. So anyway.
So I know this is still, hasn't gone live yet, but have you done any user testing with it?
Other schools have. I didn't see the need to replicate what UVA and a bunch of other schools have done. I didn't have any choice on the format. There were things I wanted in this format that didn't happen. I think this is way too big and that there should be 3 columns across, and I wanted some true box and things like that, but Jordan and Mark simply didn't collaborate on it. They just made this and said, here it is. And that was not our original agreement, but like I said, I understand their circumstances have changed in the 2 years since we signed that agreement. So they have a lot to do, and I'll get over it. I always do. I always do get over it. Nothing has killed me yet. So, but anyway, yeah, so no, we haven't done user testing. I didn't feel the need to. There are schools that have done this and they keep doing this. They keep using it. And there's nothing to say I still can't have a regular instance of EDS, right, as well. I can still have the search all if I want to do that. I can have different roads to the same place. The API is separate from your main EDS iteration.
Yeah, thank you for showing that.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to try it or use it or set it up and see what your people think or show them this, like I said, I just haven't configured EDS behind the scenes, so that's why these results aren't accurate. And I will. And if you want, if somebody wants it to be working for them to demo it, I could do that. It'd take me about a day to do it. So, but I'm happy to.
Do you know why it says full text not available in all these records?
Because the full text is not available.
Okay.
These will not be here anyway. Okay.
But like the ebook, one of those was an ebook. Yeah.
Right. These will not be in here anyway.
Oh.
So, right. These will not be showing up in this box anyway. So that's probably why.
Okay.
Okay. If we were to go into our results and it only shows the first 5, you can also set how many it shows, just like you can with Pica. But once it gets down to articles, it's just that the first 5 are we boost ebooks in our results in EDS.
Mm-hmm.
You can not format that. You can do the you can play with the algorithm a little. They won't let us play with the algorithm entirely. EDS won't, but EBSCO won't, but you can do a little. So once we got down to a non-ebook, wherever that's going to be, like here, it would show that the full text was there.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just that I haven't done my work because I'm not in a hurry because we're not doing it until fall. And I wanted everything to be there before I started to work on it.
Right.
Other questions? I do think this is interesting, and if anybody wants to get together and have a little mini EDS and talk about using different instances of EDS for different subjects, or why to do that and when to do profiles in EBSCO, I'm happy to do that with anybody. I really like working with that stuff. I'm an electronic resources librarian at heart when I'm not an instruction librarian. Those are the only 2 things I really like, I think.
Well, thanks, Martha.
Thank you for listening, and thanks for voting for Google Scholar. Yay!
Yay! That's exciting, Martha. Thank you for sharing and forging the path on that. That's wonderful.
You are so welcome. I'll put out another shout out for the bookings module that we bought that only one public school library is using. If anybody wants to talk about that, the bookings module, we bought that as well, and it's available, and we like it, and it works great.
And you share. You're so nice.
Well,
Very
what
nice.
are we going to,
Thank you.
why wouldn't we? It's already paid for. What's the difference? Right? I mean.
Is that charge based on your FTE or I'm just curious because that does seem like a lot of money for the platform.
Well, that was what I negotiated with Marmot.
Oh, okay.
We had, I'll tell you the story really quickly. When we came in to the consortium, we had negotiated through Marmot with III to provide a single sign-on service with our campus CAS system, central authentication system. And III was unable to do that in the end. They promised but could not deliver. So we had that money set aside. And Mark built it for us, but we only used a portion of the money to pay for Mark building our single. We have that too. If you want Pica, we have single sign-on in Pica. And I think who is CMC, I think, is implemented. Is that correct? So if you go into
just EDS, but not.
Oh, so if you go into the catalog and you go to log in, you'll see that right here is the option for people to sign in with their Fort Lewis CAS central authentication. And that's what Mark built for us. And it can work with either Shibboleth or CAS. Those are the two big single sign-on programs that campuses use.
What's the second one?
CAS, CAS is Central Authentication Service.
Oh.
Which is also the name of it. It's like Kleenex, right?
Oh, okay, I see.
CAS is a program like Shibboleth,
Okay.
but it's also, these are all central authentication services.
Okay.
So yeah, and they can do that for you. And so we paid for that, and we still had money left. And rather than having Marmot refund the money to me, I negotiated this. I wanted this. So,
Yeah.
because they had already, I don't know, the money was gone probably by the time we got around to doing this. So.
Martha, this is Jamie. Just in a sentence or two, what does the bookings module do for you?
Nice. The bookings module allows users in a single or multiple patron categories to reserve the use of an item, any item in Sierra. And so we have faculty who use it quite a bit for videos they want to show in their class, because then we won't check the item out and it'll be ready for them. It comes up as a hold, and we put it on the hold shelf and they come and get it. And so it's for that. I think I'm going to be testing this summer, using it for room reservations too.
Thanks, Martha.
Sure.
Okay, so have we given that good airtime? Anything else before we move on from the bento boxes? Thanks again, Martha.
You are so welcome, Sylvia.
Since I'm not hearing anything else, but feel free to speak up if something comes to your mind later. On the email, I also had that we would discuss the retreat that we'd like to plan for. And then we had a Google Doc about some topics. And I think there's 3 of them on there. Does anybody have a pressing need to put a fire under something to bubble it to the top? Guess I'm looking for priorities here.
I don't know about the list that you're talking about.
It's on the Marmot webpage.
Oh,
Maybe,
okay.
Yeah, we probably need a refresher, Sylvia, if you could, please.
If Brandon is there. Brandon, are you there? Can you show them where that page is?
I am here. What is it we're looking for?
So on the Marmot webpage,
Oh, somebody.
I'm not clicking around on the committees. We've created a document to put topics on for this.
For the MAC committee?
Okay, let me.
It's posted in chat too. Thanks, Ginger.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
This one.
Yep.
There we go.
Thanks.
Yeah, so as a refresher, at our last meeting, we talked about how are we going to sort of get together a list of topics, and we created this, and so we had some candidates here, and then we also had talking about the retreat. So these topics could be either for this MAC meeting, or we could say that would be a good retreat topic. I don't know.
Well, my topic is the first one, and that would be, I would say, a good retreat topic.
I was kind of hoping that we might kind of put that as sort of the frame for the whole
Okay.
retreat, thinking about information literacy, maybe the ACRR framework and how that all fits in together, how the different things that we're doing at our respective institutions in the classroom.
Yeah, that would.
I think everybody's really doing a lot, especially in the last year, to really think hard and push hard for information literacy. We were lucky in that they just redid all of our learning outcomes for the college. And there are only 8 of them now, and one of them is information literacy. So we're really happy about that. But there's some cool things that we've been doing that we'd love to share with people. I know I'd mentioned to Shane maybe doing some kind of a discussion around that as a topic. Also,
Totally up for it still.
you're still up for it, yeah. I was hoping that maybe Jay might want to contribute something to this as well. But Sylvia and I talked about this a little bit, the get together, and I really hope we can get some attendance. I know that you had a good one there in Durango 2 summers ago, Martha, and we just kind of want to reboot that and do something here in Steamboat. I do have one of our nicer facilities on campus reserved already for August 2nd and 3rd, which is a Thursday and Friday. We wanted to try to time it just before, everything gets crazy for all of us. But after the Rockies, the instruction of the Rockies conference, because I know a lot of people might be attending that. And there could be some good information that maybe even translates from that to this. But my vision for this whole thing, and this is just me personally, and I'd love to hear from the group, would be that we would have a couple of good structured presentations, but then there would be a lot of time just for discussion, because it seems like we always have a lot to talk about when we get together. So to kind of map it out that way, it would be pretty laid back. Basically come in Thursday afternoon, do Thursday afternoon activities up until the evening, and then do Friday morning, and everyone could, head home. We could do lunch when everybody gets there here on campus. And then on Friday, it would probably be like when we're finished, people could then, decide to either go somewhere in town or just head on back kind of deal. But to do just a few sessions around information literacy presentations and then have some good open discussion time as a group. Is it realistic for people to be able to come up here? That's the first question, though. I want to, make sure it's not me and 2 people.
I'll be up there. My sister lives there, so I come up a lot.
Perfect.
Jamie and I will be there, so we'll be your 2 people, and now you already have more than 2.
All right. It's getting better already.
Hopefully someone from Adams State can come. We're in the process of hiring a new instruction librarian, so we'll see.
That might be a fun opportunity for someone new to kind of meet people in the group. And get some good FaceTime with hopefully all our instruction librarians could participate.
We'll have someone there from Fort Lewis or multiple someones.
Great. What about format or topic? Does that seem like a good kind of overarching theme for our get together?
I think so, and I can be one of those formal presentations.
Yeah, I'd love to hear about the way you book time. You had mentioned you had kind of a cool process for booking a librarian, and how introducing that in the classroom really came back into the library and increased numbers of the reference desk.
Yep, exactly.
I know Tracy here will do one too, so that'd be at least 2 of them.
Well, and Marmot will have a new executive director, and I mean, maybe we would, I don't know, did Jimmy come to the academic
Yes.
class? Maybe.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
That's when he brought up for the first time we were talking about a separate Sierra. I was talking seriously about a separate Sierra for the academics.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it could be a good way to kind of let that person get to know the academics.
Yeah, and I'd love to kind of hear their approach to how the academic piece fits in a multi-type library consortium and get their thoughts on that, and really kind of
Right.
where they stand on all of that. That would be helpful, I think, for all of us.
And I think that when we did it last time at Durango, there was really good discussion between Marmot and the academic folks. So I thought it was a very profitable time.
Well, we'll do our best to get whoever the new director is to be able to come to that, at least from Marmot representation for sure. In fact, I think that would be a deal breaker, and we'll have to make sure at least, we can get at least 1 or 2 Marmots to visit for this as well. Hopefully the director. But
Hey, Kevin, kind of a mundane question. Is there housing available on your campus for the
I'll look into that because, the the dorms are pretty quiet in the summer. There's a lot of summer conferencing and activities that go on. So various camps come in and out. I will check that time with our student services folks to see if that might be a possibility. And if not, I know that there's a hotel downtown that's kind of a little historic motel called the Rabbit Ears, which I don't know if anybody knows Steamboat.
Oh, yeah.
We can negotiate a friendly rate with them, and they're very close by and they're right downtown. So either way, there'll be accommodations. Ideally, if we could do anything to open up dorm space, that would be great. But if nothing else, I'll at least negotiate something with the Rabbit Ears.
Well, thanks.
Well, it's good to know that people will be coming. So now I feel good, and we're going to move forward. So we'll definitely plan it. I'll coordinate with Marmot. I will talk to our people here on the ground about the dorms. I know that it's kind of a moving target right now. So for them, if they have a conference opportunity that comes up, they'll take it. That's the only thing about.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? That's just kind of how that works.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I can earmark that space for our group, but I know I can have a friendly negotiation with the Rabbit Ears folks for a discounted rate.
Kevin, would it be helpful to just keep building on this Google Docs and put a place for if people have interest in presenting or yes, we'll RSVP to people from wherever, and just as a way as it starts to put some flesh on this a little bit, it'll be kind of where we can look for an update.
Yeah, I think that's great. Especially RSVP kind of info, because if I know how many people are coming, then that, of course, that always helps with figuring out hotel rate, as well as, we'll provide lunch for sure that first day when everybody comes in. So those kinds of things, we'll want to work that out in the meantime. And then I got to think of some fun activity for us to do that night. I know you did trivia, right? In Durango, which I missed.
Strawberry Hot Springs?
That's a possibility.
Yeah, I could bring the trivia person with me. You could have trivia if you want. He's mobile.
He's mobile. Would you pack him in your trunk, or would he ride?
No, he can run alongside the car.
Okay.
Actually, I make him drive all the time. That's it.
Well, good. I'm looking forward to this. I hope that everyone is. I think we can have a lot of fun. And like I said, we always have plenty to talk about when we get together in a group. And I know our opportunities are limited. So this would give us some breathing room to maybe really have some more in-depth discussion. And there will, of course, be plenty of time for just, open dialogue. And we can structure it down to topics. And as people are thinking about topics that are most important, the theme will be information literacy, and we'll have some good presentations and discussion. But then any really burning issues, and who knows, between now and then some things could come up. Let's definitely take some time to talk about our priorities and what's important to us.
Yeah, the other
That
thing,
sounds really good.
Yeah, I totally agree.
the other thing, if you guys want any specific presentations or anything like that from Marmot on any services or anything, just put that on this list as well, and we can prepare a presentation for the right people for you guys.
Okay, great. Thanks, Brandon. Would you be interested in coming to Steamboat for a couple days?
I don't mind traveling at all.
We'll definitely have some fun.
Steamboat's good that time of year. I've only been during Christmas when it was snowing, so.
It's a really nice time to come up here. It starts to get cool in the evening in August, and there's always the afternoon storms that roll in. It's like a true mountain summer type good experience. So it'll be fun. I'm overselling it.
And Kevin, did you talk about, so you said that you would provide the food, did you say on Thursday afternoon, right, for lunch?
Yeah, for lunch. And then what I'll do is when I have a solid number, then I will probably just make a reservation for a restaurant in town, so that all of us, unless it's a really big, we'll see if it's really big, then we'll be flexible and figure out, what we could do with food service if we need to. But the goal would be to have lunch in the space. We've got a nice big auditorium space with great tech available for us to use. And then we'll do lunch in that room when everybody arrives. Dinner, I will make reservations at a local establishment. And then breakfast, people will be kind of on their own for full breakfast. We'll definitely have probably some coffee and maybe some light fare available. It won't be like full pancakes or anything, just like muffins and coffee and stuff. And then people can be on their own for lunch for Friday.
Kevin, this is Mary. Can we set a deadline for committing to attend? I mean, I work better, and I think a lot of the folks at my library do better if we have a date by which we have to commit.
Sure. Well, since it's summertime, and summertime it's busy here, but it's much more laid back than ski season. I'm not worried about, I mean, the room's already taken, the reservation for the main space that we're working in is already taken, and that's a very large space, so it can accommodate, all the academics in Marmot if it needed to. I guess I would think July 1st would be really kind of pushing it, but that would be a good solid date to know that people are going to be able to attend.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good. Because it is hard to know what could come up now, but by June or July, it's much clearer.
Yeah, put it on the calendars now. See
Yeah.
what life does in the meantime, and then if we can commit by July 1st, that would be great.
Kevin, I have a suggestion. I don't know if this is helpful or not, but during the MUG conference, they have that calendar, Google Doc, or whatever it is thing where people kind of put their name down, like if they want to go here for lunch or something. Maybe we could set something up where people could just, if they think they're probably going to want to go, they could just stick their name casually on this document, and we could all put our names on or put it off. But it would give you kind of a running idea of what you might expect way before July 1st, because it's just a casual, well, I think I'm going to go, I'll put my name on the list kind of thing.
Sure. Yeah, I think that we can facilitate all that through the Marmot page, through the Google page there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Jamie touched on something that I wanted to ask. Kevin, did we want to talk about people getting together to go to dinner on Thursday evening? Just organizing it, not paying for it,
Yeah, and that's what I'll negotiate with some place in town to have a reservation for dinner for people that Thursday evening, and that'll be something that we can set up a calendar for to kind of know who's going to be there. So I have numbers, and like I said, in the summertime, fortunately, that gives me a little more flexibility because I know people aren't as crazy that time of year. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll set something up and make a reservation in town. I'll try to respect, a nice kind of reasonable price point, similar to what we've done there in Junction at the restaurant that we've gone to there. If that works for everybody, if you want me to think of, I can send out menus of a couple different places that are amenable to the idea and get feedback from the group. How does that sound?
Sounds wonderful, Kevin. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, well, that's about all I have on that. That's a great start. Thanks for the feedback, everyone. Think of it as an ongoing sort of discussion between now and then, and I will shore up the formal presentations. Thank you, Shane, for stepping up. I know Tracy here will also present, and then that's at least two, and then I will have one for Marmot. So maybe one day can be really kind of focused on information literacy, like maybe that first day we all arrive, we really talk about that, and then maybe that Friday morning could be a good time for some more Marmot-focused discussion, but we'll figure out the schedule as we go.
Sounds great. So, looking at the topics on our Google Doc there, it looks like 1 and 4, the ACRL framework, 1 and 3 can fit within the retreat, but it looks like number 2, the space, is not necessarily. It looks to me like 2 and possibly 4 could be topics for future this MAC meeting.
Yes, and regarding number 2, and just since we all got the email today from LibNet on the free webinar from UW-Madison, their free webinar on May 15th is called Academic Library Space Planning, and it's by the 21st Century Libraries Consulting person. So I just want to tell, well, especially Renee, who put that on, that might be a good webinar to see. And I can forward the email if anyone isn't on LibNet or wouldn't get it otherwise.
We also use an interesting program. I don't know if anybody here uses Summa. We do that for, it's our space assessment, and it's an open source program. So we could, if anyone's interested in that, I can talk to them about that too. We really like it.
How do you
So can
spell
we-
that?
Yeah, how do you spell it? It's SUMA. It's from one of the UNC state schools. So let me tell you which one. It is from North Carolina State University. And it's SUMA. It's not an acronym, it's lowercase. And we use it, we do this every hour we're open. We have this on a tablet, and it's given us some really powerful data about who's doing what and where they are and things like that. So
That is cool.
yeah, gate count just doesn't cut it for me. So
Well, and I don't even trust our gate count.
well, we can't trust ours. It was broken for months. And nobody
Yeah.
did, so.
Right.
Yeah, so I guess one of the questions is, Renee put her about how to create quiet spaces and collaborative spaces. We could either, again, respond on this document, say, I'm making this up, CMU, this is what we would like to add to the conversation, or we could just put it on the agenda and then we kind of make a list or round robin and just report how we approach it or what we found helps
Mm-hmm.
or what things vex us. We just can't seem to figure out an answer. So what do you think? Would you rather like put it on a document and then we could at least look at that and have the discussion at the next meeting?
What we could do is like things we've talked about, just move at the bottom and keep this MAC meeting topics list going.
Right. So the topics will be, we're still with the topics, but then if we, separate out the space and then we start adding our answer to that, that would be below the topics, but it would be to start in answer to what the inquiry was.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could just go the route of that's going to be the topic for the April 11th meeting and we'll report then.
However you want to do that, Sylvia, is fine.
Okay, how about this? We'll just, it'll be on our agenda for the April meeting. And if anybody wants to put something on this document in preparation, they can do that. How about that?
That sounds perfect.
Sounds good.
And when is the April meeting?
It's Wednesday, April 11th.
Probably at
At
1
1.
again.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's 10 till, I don't know how long these typically last.
About an hour, wouldn't y'all
About-
say? Is Jay with us? He had 0.4 for meeting topics.
He's not here.
Okay.
He's still with us, but he's doing something else apparently.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but I will check with Jay because he's one of our CMUers.
Okay.
And we'll add an agenda and then we'll see whether he wants it there.
Yeah.
But so far for April, we have the space questions and then we'll review how the retreat is shaping up. And of
Okay.
course, anybody can add.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I was going to say, sound reasonable?
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
If we have time, I just want to let everybody know that Karen Neville is now the director at Red Rocks Community College.
Our
May-
loss, your loss and our
Yes,
loss.
yes,
Oh,
I know,
oh.
indeed.
Happy
But
for
what-
Karen, but
Yeah,
you
what
know.
a great opportunity. So I did want to, give you that update. But we have hired, Brianna Martin will start March 12th, and Shane and I were chatting that we should bring her August 2nd.
This is Mary at Adams State, and probably most of you have already heard that Nicole LaBeouf is gone.
Mm.
She went to CU Boulder, moved on to bigger things. So we're going to really miss her.
Mhm.
Well, we already are.
Any other news items to share? This is interesting.
Well, this was fun, everybody.
Yeah, thank you everybody for coming, and I will send a reminder email out before the actual day next time. Sorry about that. And we'll just keep working off this document for agenda items. This will kind of just be our place where we build our meeting.
That sounds great, Sylvia. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
Thanks everybody for joining.
Would Kevin have any update on Marmot director search?
No, because the board is doing that. Sylvia might have.
Oh, you're not on the board. I've
Correct.
forgotten.
No, Sylvia is our board person.
That's right. That's right.
It's true, and we have a meeting tomorrow, so I don't have an update today.
Okay. Okay. I was just wondering.
Yeah, advertise and have some applications, but aside from that bare bone, I really don't have
Okay.
much to add.
Okay. Well, maybe by April there might be something.
Hopefully by then.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I think Jimmy is, when's his planning departure time? May sometime? I can't recall.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
think he was hoping to introduce a new person by the council, which is the 16th of May.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, it's great talking to everybody. Thank you for your time.
You too.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.